a brief take on a show that we have coming on real soon with the end games slash 6-man combo. We're going to have a preseason review on the on Thursday, the game before the game. So we definitely have that going on, as well as we got Will, the Thrill, Waddell, and Dez. They're going on shortly. This won't be a particularly long one, but I want to kind of give you guys a little brief. Like I said, I'm going on about 10-15 minutes. The guys, Will, the Thrill, they're going to be going on in about 3:35. So I got a good 10-15 minutes or so to chat with you guys. So if you guys were interested in any questions, now is the time. All right, I got 15-20 minutes, so you guys throw them questions in there right now. I will say this about the Atlanta Falcons and the quarterback position. I really want to talk about this because there's been a lot of people that have been highly upset in regards to Raheem's decision to not play Kirk Cousins and to not play Matt Ryan. Good God Almighty! You see what I'm saying? This is what happened when you're a Matt Ryan fan. All right, like everything reminds you of Matt Ryan. All right, we're talking about Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr. All right, M's. What is up with the Atlanta Falcons and M's? We just love M. We got Matt Ryan, Michael Penix Jr. and Mike Vick. Like, what is up with all these M's? That's a whole nother subject. But let's get straight to it, man. My take on it. A lot of people probably said to me, Mike, you're probably a little bit too harsh on Raheem. I say the hell with that. I'm not harsh enough on Raheem, but I will say this about Raheem Morris. He has stuck to what he does in the preseason. He wants to give a lot of these guys opportunity to prove themselves in practice, and I think he's done a wonderful job of doing that. A lot of these guys are, they're free. I will say this. I don't think personally Raheem like the in your face, the smack talking that a lot of the young guys, along the even the offensive guys. You got guys like Matthew Bergeron, obviously James Pierce Jr. Like, these guys are going at it. I'm hearing that DeMarco Hellams is not going down. He's not going down. Right? He's not going down. He is going to fight. He's going to fight for the position. He's going to fight for an opportunity to play with this Atlanta Falcons team. Marcus Mariota, God damn it, that's another one. Damn, what's up with all these M's? We got a lot of M's in there. The M and M and M and M boys, all right? The M and M and M and M boys. But I think Raheem has done a good job of just staying to what he said he was going to do. A lot of these veteran players are not going to play in the preseason. I personally think it's the right thing to do. I do, Marquise, I do believe that it's the right thing to do in regards to the players, because one, I don't personally think the Atlanta Falcons should rely on an old veteran player like Kirk Cousins. I mean, there's no need for him to be to play as many snaps in preseason. I think once at this point, Kirk Cousins is exactly who he is. It's not preseason is not going to make it any better, any worse than what we've already seen. Now I've heard in practice that he threw a pick six. Okay, I heard that he threw a pick six, and I threw it. But look, this is preseason. I mean, at the same time, we had a lot of positive things about this Atlanta Falcons defense so far, and like I said, right now these guys look good. So I do agree with Raheem. I do believe that Raheem is doing the one. He's staying consistent. He said he wasn't going to play last year. He didn't play a lot of our quarterbacks, and I understand from a fan standpoint, you want to see your best players, and you want to see Mike Penix, and you want to see Kirk Cousins. You want to see the guy that's going to be, that's in the public eye, and you want to see the good players. You don't want to see, but me, I completely disagree. I want to see Easton Stick. I want to see Emory Jones because for me personally, they like Easton Stick, Emory Jones, Carlos Washington Jr. Carlos Washington, I don't know if he's a junior, but Carlos Washington, you got Chris Blair, you got Nick Nash, you got a lot of these guys, the Skinners, like you got all these guys that are looking for opportunity to be seen. And I think when you look at these guys, and I got about 13 minutes, but I want to get this point out. When you look at these guys, I think, for me, I want to see how the youngsters report because if we can get to a point where this organization has created a coaching staff that is good at developing our talent, I think that'll be I think that'll be a lifesaver as far as money is concerned because we're seeing these contracts are getting way out of hand. Like we got the situation with Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons is not looking to get just a regular old deal, a couple 1 million more than the other guy. This dude looking to get 10, 15, 20 million more than what the other guy. Is it fair? Hell no. Okay. I still believe that Jerry Jones is in the right, but that's my own personal take. But at the end of the day, I think Raheem is doing a good job of just, this team is doing a good job of developing the talent, giving these guys an opportunity. But as far as Michael Penix is concerned, I don't think the Atlanta Falcons should play him. I'm not risking it. This is our future. Obviously he's had to pass when it comes down to injuries concerned. Like for me, I'm not throwing this game. I'm not throwing him out there for the simple fact that he's going to be just getting warmed up. Like, look, I would much rather see him get warmed up going against other teams in practice in these joint practices. I would much rather see him doing against that because it's, it's not teammate. It's not, it's scripted to a certain extent when you playing against these, the joint practices. Y'all have y'all agree to terms that what will and what won't be. I think that's a good thing in regard to that. But like I said, I'm going to be focused on the players and how this coaching staff improves. Keyshawn said, based on what I've seen, the starters have been getting great competition with one another, and that's what you want. You want great competition amongst these guys. Raheem is a players coach, not a tactician. Hopefully, his coordinators can save him. That's what I'm actually focused on in regards to this coaching staff. Raheem is who he is at this point. He does have some good qualities. Players do believe him to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, it's about football. It's about football, and I understand how a lot of people even say this about James Pierce Jr., but for me, when I hear my offensive linemen say there's a different type of energy, when I hear my star running back, okay, listen to this. Your star running back, Bijan Robinson, is going out his way and say, look, y'all, this defense is bringing a different energy. And I'm just going to say, this. When your running back is saying that about the defense, when we know that there's been a change, now you can point the finger at Jimmy Lake and you can point the finger at Raheem. But at this point, if the energy has shifted and the offensive players feel that, and this team turns it around, now you got to look at Raheem and say, all right, what were you doing this first year? Did you really want to win, or you just waiting for your partner to come over here and help you, build this team? If so, we got to take that for what it is, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. But for me as a fan, from a fan standpoint, I don't like to see my head coaches throwing seasons just so they can bring their guy in who they wanted all along. And maybe Jimmy Lake wasn't that guy. And maybe he just threw him in there just to do it. But like at the end of the day, I don't like to see these guys throwing. I don't like to see these guys. And I felt like, me personally, if this team plays a lot better, granted that we brought in guys like Leonard Floyd, what's the other guy, the defensive tackle, right off the top, when we brought him in, he played with the Chargers, but we brought him in. He's going to be one of those guys that's going to be in the middle of the field. and then we brought in, Xavier Watts, all these guys on the defensive side of the ball, Walker, Pierce. All right, we brought in a lot of guys, and then we getting Braylon Trice back. So I'm really excited about where this team is going, where this team is at this point. And like I said, at this point, man, you look at the coaching staff, they have the players, you just need to see it. So that's what I'm focused on. Out of what you've seen at camp and practice, which veteran has the most work to do to make this team, and which you would a free agent is most likely to make the team? Who will show? I mean, that's what the preseason is about. I don't really get too involved with the. It's gonna be hard for a lot of undrafted free agents to kind of make this team. I'm just gonna be honest. These guys really have to showcase their talent, because I think other teams are definitely going to be looking at this Atlanta Falcons roster to figure out the Khalid Kareems of the world, the Barrow. Like, these guys are, from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, these guys are making somewhat of an impact. But the Falcons roster is deep on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the DB room, especially up front. There's probably a little bit more room as a linebacker than it is up front or in the secondary. Like, it's more. So my opinion in that regard is, I wouldn't worry about too many undrafted free agents. A lot of these guys are not going to be with the Atlanta Falcons, not because they aren't good, but this team is just that deep, and you're going to see a lot of good players potentially be gone. I mean, there's a possibility a guy like Troy Anderson and J.D. Bertrand may not be. This is how deep this team is right now. But like I said, it won't be a particularly long live. Like I said, we got got about 12 minutes or so. We got the Scottish Falcons coming on, Atlanta Falcon Nation. But I had to get this out real quick. Plan on going a little bit longer, but man, Mike is a team player. I don't want to hog up all the spotlight. And, we got a lot of guys on this crew that are very good at what they do. And I think the Scottish Falcons deserve a lot of the attention. Because it's fans from all over the world. It's not just here in Georgia. We got people from up north, Rhode Island. We got people from Jersey, from New York. We got family from California, Florida. Like, we from all over. Germany. We all over. So I think those guys definitely need an opportunity. People think about something out training camp with these two quarterbacks. But like I said, I want to see Tabor. What's going on? I want to see. I really want to see what Easton Stick has. Like, that's what I'm really focused on, because it's going to tell me if Easton Stick comes out playing well enough. Like, that's going to tell me a lot. And that's just my personal opinion, because obviously we're going to have a guy like Kirk Cousins as the backup. But if this guy, Easton Stick, plays well in the preseason, I think he's going to have every opportunity to seize probably not a starting job, but probably not a backup job. But if the Atlanta Falcons trade Kirk Cousins to a team that needs a quarterback, I mean, we see right now that Cleveland is a damn mess right now. They're going to end up getting Shedeur Sanders some significant playtime because their quarterbacks are down with hamstring and muscle issues and all. So these are the types of things that could quite possibly go down at this particular point. How this does affect the offensive player wanting to showcase their talent with a third? I mean, game break. So I don't think the coaching staff is looking at whether or not these guys will, because you know what these guys, as a coach, you know what these guys can do. I think the thing is will it correlate on the field, what you've seen in practice and what you see on the field? This is what coaches are focusing on. So it's not so much whether or not these guys are going to play well. It's just what you're teaching them. Is it correlating? For example, if you have a defensive tackle that is that's playing well, and he has the fundamentals down packed as a fourth or fifth, probably even sixth defensive tackle, and he's doing his job in practice, and then you get in, put him on the field, And then you see him, he may not get no pressure, he might not get sacks, but in his fundamentals, you see him on the field and he's holding the point. He's staying in his gap. You see the discipline there. Those are the things that coaches are really looking at. So they're not really looking at sacks. They're not looking at numbers. It's about what you're teaching them. Is it correlating to practice the field? And I think those are the things that they focus on. So I'm really not looking at the Wayne, see what's going on. How you doing? JD, what's going on, brother? Jew Talk Sports in this mug. Like I said, we got about 8 minutes or so before this Scottish Falcon. They're going to be going on Atlanta Falcon Day. So y'all head over there, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys give your thoughts on them. Like I said, I'm definitely coming back tomorrow. Definitely gonna have more uploads. And I know Jew. If y'all know Jew Talk Sports, man, that boy been going in. He been embarrassing me. And Mike don't like to be embarrassed. But if I'm being embarrassed, hey, I'm gonna be embarrassed by my little brother. All right. So, if the Colts were serious about competing in the AFC, they would call Kirk. No, I don't think so. I think they're doing a good job of what they have. Like Kirk Cousins, and when you talk about where Kirk Cousins is in his career, it's like he's not the same guy athletically. Like I saw that. Kirk is old, y'all. He doesn't look the same. I've seen him, and a lot of people seen him at practice. Kirk Cousins is not the fleet of foot, and he's not a great athlete, and he looks a lot like he did last year. It's not much difference. But the thing is, with a guy like Kirk, at this point, his experience is going to get him by. And I think that's the thing when you look at Kirk Cousins. So, like for me, you got Dane Jones, you got Anthony Richardson. I wouldn't even call the Atlanta Falcons. If I'm the coach, I would not call Kirk Cousins if I'm the Atlanta Falcons. If I'm the coach, I would not, unless Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson are really stinking up the place. That's the only way I'm calling them. But from what I've seen for Kirk Cousins, I'm not wasting any of my time with that. Yeah, Kirk looked like he did last 5 weeks ago. Last 5 weeks, and that's the thing. What I saw him on the field. I saw him in. Now, granted, it was early in training camp, and you know, Kurt is gonna be Kurt. Kurt is gonna check the ball down. Kurt gonna make the right reads. Kurt gonna do this, and Kurt gonna throw some, what the fuck balls up in the air. Like he's gonna do that at this point in time in his career. So for me, when it all comes down to it, man, I just think if the Colts or any team is smart, don't call Kirk Cousins unless you absolutely have to, and that's just the bottom line. Not because I said so, but that's the honest truth. I don't think Kirk Cousins is a starter right now. I think he's a backup, and I think until he can show that he is ready to go as far as his physicals is concerned, I'm not seeing the same guy. But at the end of the day, if a guy like Joe Flacco can still play at a significant rate, I wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past. Excuse me. So we got we have Xavier Littman here. I saw your short about Stafford with back issues. What do you think? The chance of the Rams trying to do business with no, look, like I said, unless you want Stetson Bennett as your quarterback, like I wouldn't touch him. Like I wouldn't touch Kirk Cousins. Like I said, for me, I didn't see anything in Kirk Cousins live that I like, to be honest. Like he looked old. and it just looked like he isn't one of those guys that's ready. As the guys go, everybody going by 4 minutes or so. I was out there. Eating stick look. Yeah, Ethan looked younger. He looked like he was ready to go. And I don't know if you talked about it. How do you feel about the offensive starters not playing? I look, I don't have a problem with it. I'm not putting my quarterbacks at home. Like I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it whatsoever. I'm not wasting my time putting out a Kyle Pitts, but I'm not wasting my time putting Kirk out there and risk him getting hurt because Kirk get hurt. Guess what? We can't trade him. And if Mike Penix get hurt, guess what? We shit out of luck for the season. So I'm not wasting my time. I'm not wasting time putting those guys out there. But Braylon Trice is there, but he's on a snap count coming back from injuries. So is a guy like I think he's on a camp, kind of like a snap count for training camp because these guys coming back from injury. So don't get too caught up in. We'll see Braylon Trice, but I'm more like I said for me. I'm worried about our wide receivers and our tight ends. That's just me. But I don't have a problem with the Raheem keeping those guys out. I don't have a problem whatsoever. I think it's the right thing to do. You got a young audience for the most part, a young core for the most part. Give those guys opportunity, more snaps to showcase their skills, and we don't need to see nothing else from Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix. Those guys are who they are. So, like I said, man, I think that's it. And I will, yeah, but the Rams, that's a whole nother situation that I'll end with this. But the Rams could be in a lot of trouble because if they don't have Matthew Stafford healthy, they might have to worry about Stetson Bennett. Okay? That might be your quarterback. Think about that. So they might be a team that could be looking for a Kirk Cousins. So that's just my take, man. Like I said, head over to Atlanta Falcons Nation. No, we're not doing that, Southside. We're not doing that, brother. No, brother. We're not doing that, brother. But yeah. That being said, man, head over to Atlanta Falcons Nation. The boys about to go real soon. I had planned on going longer, but I'm a team player. And head over to Atlanta Falcons Nation and check out the Scottish Falcons, part of the crew. That's all I got to say about that. And that's the bottom line because Mad Mike said so. Peace.